What up, y'all? Back again. Right here are Gilded Age photos from homes in all of the 50 states of the United States. These were all built before 1905, according to our history. So you're talking about most of these were early to mid to late 1800s. Most of them have years recorded on them as around the 1870s. These are called Gilded Age homes, y'all. These are homes. Look how gigantic they are. But if you just look at the quality, and if you could just imagine that these were built with just a hammer, a chisel, a mule, and a candle for light, y'all. And no infrastructure, while all kind of wars and all kinds of craziness was going on. And a lot of these are up in the cold-weathered states of the country. They're in all 50 states. And of course, a lot of these have been demolished. But if you just look at the character, the ornaments that are placed on these things and how they made them look so glorious, and the windows going into the ground, the doorways going into the ground, there was a major catastrophe. The mud flood had occurred already, but it's not recorded in our history at all, but it was a worldwide situation where we had liquefaction and everything sunk in the mud between 10 and 20 feet. And it's hard to believe that we built these structures when we might could build them today. I get it, but see the windows going into the ground, like windows going into the ground, all of them. They're halfway in the ground. Most of these are probably 8 feet underground. So they're much larger. That's why a lot of them the longer you look at them, they may look top heavy. And some of them may have been dug out or didn't sink that much, depending on where their landscape was and how much the mud liquefied. But what they also did was put stairs going into second floor windows. And that's why you'll see stairs going up sometimes. That was really like a second floor window that was converted into a door. These were made with extra large ceilings. They're just amazing. Things we really, in a lot of ways, can't really build these structures the way they did. As magnificent as whoever it was that built them. That's my point. And it makes me believe, from doing my own research, that how would this line up with the word? You know, you got to question that, because this kind of stuff is just some Gilded Age mansions. But when you go back to anything, this is how all structures were. And I'm not saying that we can't build them today, but it would take a lot of skilled labor, and a lot of money would have to be thrown at them. And to do it the way they did it, with supposedly no equipment, no mechanics, no hydraulics, no engines, no motors, no computers, nothing. With a few people, candle for light, and a mule to drag all that crap to the site, that alone is a big deal. But look at the roofs and the cone-shaped roofs and cupolas. I mean, the architecture and how pristine and precise it was makes me believe this was stuff that is left over from the end of the millennial kingdom in the Word. And when you look at our history, you find that it's interesting. And it seems like there's been time added. And so it makes you wonder, are we in that era past. And are these the leftover structures that maybe saints were living in? It makes you think about heaven as well. In my Father's house are many mansions. And if it weren't so, I would tell you. But that reign, that millennium, I believe it happened after 66 AD. And maybe Nero was the anti one. And they probably had technology that we have today or more. And it just could have got burnt up in the fervent heat. And if that did happen, I could see why it would be kind of hidden. Because, God would want you to have faith to believe. And if you knew that happened in the past, it wouldn't take much faith to believe, right? But these are amazing structures. And if you ever did construction like I have, you would know that we don't build this kind of stuff. And if we do, it's like a faux version, like a fake version of it. Instead of like real marble, granite, and stone and stuff, it would be like plastic or made out of wood, made to look expensive but not be expensive. And that's the thing, in the kingdom of the short season, little season, it would be fake. Even the building would be fake because that's how the enemy is. Thank you for watching. Until next time.